What's so crazy about this story is me and my wife, we was sitting down, we was talking about it, and he was like, yo, what would you do? If Kim Kardashian came to you, you was at a you was at a party, a white party. Why not? You was at a Diddy white party. Man, you just made it. You was on the top of your game. You was doing whatever you was doing at the level you needed to do it to the point where you made it to a Diddy party. And you with Kim Kardashian, y'all chilling, and she gives you a glass of whatever, the hottest thing smoking right now, whatever drink, you know what I mean? She throw you one, and you want to be down, like you feeling the vibes, you take the drink with her, and then next thing you know, she gotta go because her security guards pull her, she gotta go, she gotta make moves, she gotta make money, she gotta do what she gotta do. And then Diddy come, he put his arm around you, he's like, hey, and he doing all that, oh, calling you daddy, it was good, daddy, how you feeling, daddy? And all that other stuff. And then next thing you know, you black out. You wake up in the morning, you know what I'm saying? Like how like that could happen to anybody. That could happen to anybody. But this story right here, it just put it more into perspective. If this lady is telling, I don't know this woman, but if she's telling whatever the story she's telling is true, how she's telling it, then listen to the story and you see for yourself.
um, Diddy kept looking at me, and Kanye kept looking at Lauren, and like they were exchanging glances, and I'm like, they're like watching me strangely. And I'm like, okay, let me pretend to drink, and like I'm not actually doing it. Um, and like that seemed to like make them happy, like me like pretending to like join in, and immediately I'm like, there's something fucking in this drink. There's something in this drink. And I didn't know what to do. And I like my manager was like across the room, but like close enough, but like not next to me, so I couldn't like whisper to her. But I wanted to tell her, I'm like, hey, don't fucking drink this. There's something wrong with this. But I couldn't. So I reach for my phone and I start to type, and Kanye takes the phone out of my hands and he's like, who are you texting? Like, you don't need to text anyone. Like, we're having a party. And I was like, okay. And he like puts it on one of the speakers. And I'm like, fuck. Now what do I do? Like I don't know what to do. And I see my manager take a sip, and I'm like, fuck, like fuck. Now what do I do? And then I see her take another sip, two sips out of this little vodka cranberry cup, and I'm like, oh, what do I do? Two sips, and I watch her face flush, and all of a sudden like I look over and she's speaking really loud and like making jokes, and I'm like, whoa, like this isn't her. Like she doesn't make jokes. She's fucking terrified of people. Like she doesn't even talk. And I was like, it's already hitting her. Like 100%, I just knew that the drinks were all laced with something. Um, and she starts like almost being like belligerent a little bit, but not in like a crazy way, just like really enjoying herself. And I'm like, that's not her. That's not her. She doesn't even want to be here. Like this is weird. And all of a sudden, she like dismisses the studio host. Like she's like, you can leave, and I'm like, oh my god, like what's going on? And the girls file out. They go to like a different studio, or they go somewhere. And I'm like, I have to do something. I have to do something. What do I do? And I go to get my phone where Kanye put it on one of the speakers. And as I'm going to get it, I turn and my manager's walking out. And I'm like, no. Like, where are you going? So I see her start to leave. And I'm like, where are you going? And she's like, it's fine, I'm just going to the bathroom. And I was like, no, stay. And she's like, it's right there, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom. And I was like, okay. And she walks out. And all of a sudden, I realize that I'm in this studio. The music's low, the lights are dim, but you can still like see everything. And I realize that I'm in the studio with Diddy and Kanye, and they're both off their shit. And there's three other men, an executive that works with Kanye, his engineer, and his cousin, and me, alone. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay. And I haven't started freaking out yet. Like, I know what the situation is. I know, I know this is a bad place to be in, but I don't really feel scared yet, you know? Like, cause I'm like, there's other people around, there's other men around, and I know them. Like, I've known them for a while. Like, nothing bad's gonna happen. And I'm standing there, and I realize that so this is like a pretty like sizable studio. There's like the glass doors, the couch there, a console, another console, the screen, all of that. But it's like it's pretty big, but you can still see and talk to everyone easily. And I realized that I'm standing really close to the exit, and it's a glass door, and it opens in, and I'm standing pretty close to it. And I realized all of a sudden that Kanye and Diddy, have realized that I'm the only girl in the room. And they're like fucked out of their minds. And they start coming towards me and they're like, don't you want to take your clothes off? Like, it's so hot in here. And I'm like, no, fine. I'm fine like this. And they're like, come on, like, it's just us. Like, we're all just friends. Like, let us just, like, see, like, how you look. And I'm like, okay, I'm fine. And, like, I still haven't gotten scared yet, you know? Like, I'm still, like, this is a bad situation. I'm creeped out, but, like, there's no reason to panic. There's other men here. Yeah, so they're coming towards me, and I'm like, okay, this is fucked. I don't know where my manager is. I don't know where anyone is. And they're coming towards me more, and they're trying to, like, take my clothes off. And I'm like at that point where I'm like, this is not good, but I'm like still trying to like play it off, just like, stop, you guys are fucking stupid, like, get out of here, like, don't touch me. Did this just freeze? Okay, so let me just get to the point. So they start trying, like, they're like pawing at me, like they're both drunk, probably on something else, and I start to get a little bit apprehensive because I'm pretty much like backed up against the wall. Like, there's only one exit, and I'm pressed up against this door. And I'm still not completely terrified yet, but I'm like, you guys stop, like, stop. And they're getting to the point where they have like ripped my shirt off, and like, I'm like almost fully exposed at this point, and they're both coming at me, and I'm like, you guys, like, seriously, this isn't funny anymore. And I look to my left where his executive is. Like, we know him pretty well. Like, we've been around him a lot. He's literally 3 feet away from me. Like, if I reached and he reached too, like, we could touch. Like, he's that close. And I look and I'm like, hey, like, I give that look where I'm just like, come on, like, step in. Like, this isn't cool. Like, you're a grown man. Like, you're like 50 years old. I know you have a family. Like, you know this isn't right. Like, do something. And this is the part that for as long as I live, I will never fucking forget. It isn't actually the aspect of being sexually assaulted. That's not what haunts me. It's this. It's as these two grown men were pawing at me, trying to take my clothes off, I look over to this man asking for help, and I literally mouth the word help. And we lock eyes. And he looks away. I'm like, okay, there's 2 more men in the room. And I look to his engineer next, who's sitting right next to him. And I know that he's married, and he just had a little baby girl. And I'm like, okay, he's gonna do something. And I look at him next, and I'm like, okay, like, do something, say something, do anything. And he looks down at his phone and starts texting. And then I was like, oh, fuck. I look at Kanye's cousin next, and I'm like, do something, you know, like, fucking do something. And he spins his chair around. And that's when that, like, gut-wrenching fear set in. And I was like, oh, shit. No one's fucking saving me tonight. No one's gonna do anything. No one's gonna do fucking anything. And that's when I was truly fucking scared. At this point, they had ripped my shirt off, and they were trying to get my pants off. And I realized that I was completely alone. And I closed my eyes for a second, and I was like, God help me. What do I do?
What I do think though is, like, as you hear this story, you have to take everything with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? People come to the internet for their own reasons, their own methods. their own tactics. So you always gotta take everything with a grain of salt when you see it. Definitely when you see it on the internet. In the capacity of which we seeing things, things are coming out every day. I questioned the story a little bit. Like first, she said it was multiple people in the room with her at the time, and guys either turned their chair around. Even her, she said her manager, like he just went back on his phone. Um, and Kanye West's cousin turned his chair around and just proceeded to act like nothing was going on. And by this time, she had her shirt and her pants off. And she closed her eyes and she was just like, "What's going on? God help me!" Like what? That's where it stopped. That's where it ended. What happened after that? Like like did you follow a police report? That I'm very big on that because filing a police report is the first step of getting the type of justice you need for whatever happened to you. I feel like if anything, people should go and file a police report. Forget about being in the street or whatever, not snitching or whatever like that. You see how good Lil Woody doing? He out here another pop the balloon every other day, another verse 20, verse 1. Not to say that snitching is the route to go, but in certain particular situations, when you understand the magnitude of what could possibly be on what could you possibly turn into in the future, like how that could affect you in the future, you have to take the right precautions as a person, as a person that loves oneself, in order to get the justice that you feel like you need for whatever happened to you. But that's why it's so important to file that police report. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you out here? Why am I seeing your story or half of your story and not whole of your story, like in the right proper time since I need to see it? But stuff like this is crazy, man. Tell me what y'all think.